This is why I love getting industry people all together in one room, because we can create these amazing discussions and different thoughts can come forward. So thank you for participating so actively. I'm having so much fun with all of you. I'm about to invite Paul. Paul is a co-founder at Jiffy. Who has heard of Jiffy? Yes. Jiffy is an amazing story, an amazing Canadian story. Paul is going to walk us through his journey building Jiffy. We were talking about acquisitions a little earlier and about how long it takes to get an acquisition done. And so Jiffy recently got acquired by Intact. And so Paul is actually representing Intact as well today. And here he is.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Give this back.
Bob, go easy on me.
I can't guarantee. So, Paul, I ordered a Jiffy yesterday, and it was
Hopefully it went well.
It went
This would be awkward
amazing.
if it didn't.
I
They all do.
actually was with one of your. Oh, I need to switch this. Sorry. There we go. I was with one of your OGs, right? What was his name? Lanco. He's awesome. And so I heard the founding journey from you, but I also heard the founding journey from Lanco. And so I'm really excited to get into this. So let's start from the top. So you founded Jiffy, was it 2000?
Yeah, about April 2015, so about 10 years ago. When this profile, I wasn't trying to like bait and switch people here with this profile picture, which is also 10 years old. I need an updated one.
I stole it from your LinkedIn.
Okay.
You have no responsibility.
I got to get an updated one.
But tell us from the top, like, why did you start Jiffy?
The year was 2013 when I, can you guys hear me okay? Yeah. I bought my first house and realized that it was actually easy to get trades to call you back if you had a big project. But for those small kind of ones around the house, think $200-$300 service calls. It was an incredibly inefficient process to get these trades ordered. We thought that technology can solve that kind of commoditized same or next day under $500 service call. So if you're gonna, need new cabinets, build a whole deck, stuff like that, people will call you back. Like that's a human. There's humans involved in that. But if your dishwasher's on the brink, if you have a clogged drain, if you want to swap a light fixture, that's where my partners and I, as new homeowners, and use kind of apps where Uber was kind of just becoming that mainstream. We just wanted to go on our phones and order someone, and for those commoditized jobs, you actually didn't need the best electrician or appliance repair tech or plumber in the city. You just needed someone good enough to come on your schedule. You wanted to pay a fair price for them. And that's where we thought, hey, we should create a dispatching tool that there's probably a nearby plumber or electrician. We should outfit them, the end trade, with it. And it would be a much more efficient process. So that's what we created. And from the early days, you're able to go on and see the price up front, which beforehand wasn't as obvious what an appliance repair tech should charge. And you can just say, I want someone here within a few hours, and it would start notifying dozens or hundreds of appliance repair techs. And the first one to grab the job would get it. They would follow Jiffy pricing. They show up, they're pre-vetted, they're well rated by the Jiffy community, and they bill you out right through the app. So it's that. Hopefully the moving job was that easy.
It was awesome. So what happened is that for to welcome you all here, we ordered a lot of snacks, and I didn't know how big like 1,000 bags of chips is. And so you can imagine the last week, like between decor and chips and gummies, my husband wanted to kill me because our entire living room is filled with boxes. And so I was like, what do I do to get it back to the venue? And my husband was not having it. So I called Lanco. And Lanco took care of it.
We actually have a very similar story. It was actually a light fixture we bought, and my wife needs stuff done like immediately. And this box was sitting there while I figured out how to get an electrician over.
Yeah.
So it was actually, she was part of the inspiration.
Yeah.
So maybe they'd get along. Yeah.
Maybe they get along. So what's really interesting is that we first met, I realized after when you were building Campus Vacations. So you were totally in a different industry in travel before starting this. So maybe like for those of us that are thinking of being serial founders, or maybe I have two questions like, can you just jump from travel? Clearly you can, but like, how is the jump from travel to prop tech? And then do you think you were a better founder in the second run?
I don't know if anyone here has heard of Campus Vacations. Everyone's very young. Yeah, S Trip or Breakaway Tours or any of those. Yeah, some head nodding. Okay. Don't want to age.
Back when we can, like, our parents would let us go on those trips.
Yeah, I mean, during that bit, like that business was when we were like meeting up like people on street corners for cash for trips. Like there was no online payments or software or anything. We built software from scratch, like group travel software essentially. And I was envious of all these kind of marketplaces popping up, Uber, StubHub, what have you, where I'm like, wow, they don't have to do anything. They just have to make a really good platform, and there's a seller and a buyer, and kind of just you're making the experience that much better. Whereas the business we were in was very involved. So from the selling to the operating and all that. So I really wanted to get in something. I'm not even sure if I'm answering this question exactly, but you know, I just love the efficiency of these marketplaces, and that's why we got into this. And we were young homeowners, and we knew what we wanted, and we took a big leap as well because all the other platforms out there are discovery platforms. So if your sink was clogged, you can go online, start researching, vetting yourself, calling around, price comparing, see who can come when. And the magic of Jiffy, which still holds true to this day, is you don't choose who's coming to your house, right? You didn't choose Lenco. We have hundreds of movers on the back end, and then Lenco, you know, was just the first to grab that job. And everyone else in the space at the time thought we were crazy for, you know, people allowing someone random into their house. But we were confident that, you know, as young homeowners, if they're pre-vetted and well-rated, new homeowners will trust them. It ended actually up being the seasoned homeowners that have been burned by trades before and had no one to go to, and their phones weren't getting their calls weren't getting returned. Those were actually our biggest early adopters.
So at one point, I think you called yourself Chief Marketplace Officer. So you
I think that was given to me.
I like that. So let's talk about marketplaces, because I think that's like a pretty common, you know, model. So how do you build the supply and the demand, or how did you build it for Jiffy?
It actually wasn't that hard for us. Like all the plumbers in Toronto and all the cities and whatnot, like they're all readily listed. When we call them, we you know, we're the best call of the day. They'd receive because we're saying, hey, we represent all these homeowners. Do you want to be one of our preferred vendors? So we'd actually get in all the cities we've expanded to. We get their commitment. We onboard them first, and then we go out to the homeowners. And luckily, there's no cost for like the trades to be on. So we just onboard them, and then they just wait, and they start getting the job alerts, and so there's actually not too much of a magic sauce there.
Good. You found one side and the other, and perfect. Let's talk a little bit about funding. You've been really cash efficient, perhaps because there's not maybe as much funding for marketplaces in Canada. I don't know. You'll tell me. But would love to know your founding journey, and then, you know, perhaps are you?
Is that me? Is that?
Yeah. I don't know. Your funding journey.
Thinking about putting my foot up like this, and then it started. Okay, I could read my mind.
That broke the antenna.
Funding journey. We raised about $15 million over our tenure, about the first 6 years of the company. You know, we've gone through, I guess, a similar journey. Many in the room, like, been told no, like, way more times than yes. The first yes is kind of weird, actually, when you get it. But we never actually raised, like, we went out for like a proper Series A in like the $10 to $20 million range many times, and we're always told no to, we blame it on, like, we had a lot of early traction, so we actually did have a lot of data. And our issue was actually probably retention. So we would see platforms like way less traction than us go out and raise more money than we ever have. And we were, always like, damn it. But you know, it allowed us to actually focus on like the business itself and making sure the unit economics made sense. So we had a retention issue, so we were spending money to acquire and focusing too much on, I think, raising money throughout our journey and proving out like US expansion and whatnot, what other people told us to do, instead of actually focusing on like building a business. And we took our last money in the middle of COVID, and we knew that was going to be the last dollar in, and we were going to actually build a real business, kind of like my former business. And that's when things started to actually go a lot better, and we focused on retention and the product and unit economics. We solved the nut with like user acquisition. We came out with like subscription products and all this stuff that actually changed the game for us.
I want to double click on a few things. So you said once you moved away from fundraising, is it because you were spending so much time trying to fundraise? Like, is that like, or that you were like, now it was time you could spend on the business? I just want to.
I think it was just everyone saying no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just took money in from our existing investors, and we just knew that we were just going to build it was in the middle of COVID as well, so I think nobody knew what was going to happen, and we just focused on building a profitable business.
Amazing. So now Intact and the acquisition, that's so exciting. So can you tell us about the journey to that acquisition, and I guess why they were the right partner for you?
We went through a few processes when we'd get approached by various companies, and we realized that the business was going to have to be bought, not sold, meaning that we needed a like big strategic company to internally decide we want to buy a digital platform like Jiffy to engage our users more and what have you. So we couldn't really put up our for sale sign and sell to like a financial buyer or whatnot. And the biggest thing for us is, as I was kind of talking about the supply and the demand, like the supply side is actually the easier part to get on board. There's plumbers out there, they want business, so that's not the hard part. The hard part's reaching homeowners, and we need homeowners to trust us because we are letting someone that you are not vetting yourself. If anyone listens, does anyone listen to the radio here in the room? So you must hear our ads. We're on like our user acquisition is pure radio, and I can speak to radio. That's a whole other beast, but it's all endorsers. So radio hosts, whatever you guys listen to, they use Jiffy, they talk about it. There's a big trust hurdle. So someone like Intact has the trust. They're the largest home insurer in Canada. They have the trust of all their customers. So it's really like a very good natural fit for us to expand across the country. For them, they want to digitally engage. They want to be involved with their customers more than that one time a year that you're up for renewal or you have a claim. And when you do have a claim, that's kind of their time to shine. They say, and they also want to build. They also want to make sure that your home is as safe as possible. If there is any climate events, flooding or what have you, they want to make sure you're cleaning your eaves troughs, you're maybe installing a sump pump, a water shutoff valve, cleaning out your dryer vent every 2 or 3 years, using licensed trades in the house. These are all important steps to take as a homeowner that we want you to take, and they also have a vested interest in your house, and they want you to take those same steps. So it's a natural fit, and they've been a fantastic
Awesome.
partner so far.
Yeah, you've said that a couple times, which is awesome to hear, because a lot of founders are afraid of doing that transition. When did you know it was time to sell the business?
Well, we're 10 years into it, and it's been our goal since day one for Jiffy to be like a household name across the country and in every city. I always say, like, if you live in a non-Jiffy city, it's hard to like get a plumber over when you need it. So we want to give back to the community, by
Mhm.
no, I'm joking. But uh, we realize that without taking in a lot of funding, some of our investors are in this room and they'll say we are undercapitalized. We need a lot of funding to go and be on like hundreds of radio stations and whatnot. And we weren't going to be a household name across the country overnight on our own.
Yeah.
And that's why we're always open to something like this at this stage in the journey.
We're going to move on to questions in just a minute, so prepare your questions. But I guess for the prop tech founders here in the room, what's one piece of advice you would leave them if they're trying to build something that's going to stick like Jiffy has?
I would say, unit economics is the most important thing. I think we focused on like city expansion early because that's what potential investors told us we'd have to do. We'd have to prove it out. I think what was actually a lot more important was actually just like figuring out our user acquisition, which we did with radio, and that took like 5 years. But you got to try everything for that. And retention, like we were just like acquiring customers and they were churning, and we didn't focus enough on that. So I would really hone in on that and not race off to like listen to what VCs may say, or not saying don't listen to VCs, but they all told us, you got to go prove out a US market. And we spent a lot of money and time like trying to launch in Boston and Chicago that I wish we never did.
I want to make sure that we double click on unit economics because in case somebody doesn't know what you mean by that, might you walk us through like how you calculated your unit economics?
Oh, sorry. Well, it's just your acquisition cost and your lifetime value of the customer, and like the latter has to be greater than the former.
Good.
Is that?
It's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah,
Should've
no,
told me I'd have to define.
no, I'm sorry that I put you on a spot, but I hate when I listen to a thing and I get lost on a thing, and I want to make sure everything's super clear. All right, who has questions?
Hey, Paul, long-time Jiffy user here, so
There
really
we go.
appreciate hearing you
Thank
talk.
you for the business.
I have a question around customer service because I've heard you talk a lot about retention and things of that nature. How has your customer service strategy changed from when you were very young? Obviously, it's a very intimate process having somebody in your house fix something that's worth quite a bit of money, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. And if it doesn't go right, how did that change from being a young company to scaling and becoming a much larger company?
That's a great question. I mean, first off, I was handling all the customer service in the early days, so hopefully that was as it was. When things don't go right, that's actually where Jiffy, like, well, from the beginning, we're like, here's where we can actually be better than the status quo, and we have value to offer. So from the early days, I guess every dollar mattered. So we were heavily involved. We had a relationship with the pro. We had a relationship with the homeowner, and I guess we hadn't fully refined like our complete systems, right? So we'd say, "Hey, plumber, we got to reimburse so and so because of whatever." They'd be upset, and we were kind of trying to manage this, and we didn't have a pool of funds to pay for, to be in the middle and make both parties happen. I think now we have full processes where pros have to do X, Y, and Z to protect themselves. And if they don't do one of those, then kind of the pro is responsible. We kind of, customer service wise, the rule with the pros is the homeowner's always right, unless it can be proven otherwise. And in gray situations, we step in, and Jiffy kind of makes both parties whole to make everyone happy. But for sure, like if you unfortunately, we don't have a perfect 5-star Google rating. We have a pretty good one, but there'll be a lot of disgruntled pros that aren't used to having to take accountability when they just, as soon as they collect the money, it's up to them if they what they do with it. And we also we there's a thorough vetting process, but then there's like a even more thorough quality control process. So if pros, there's pros constantly weeded off the platform if their ratings or complaint rate fall out of our thresholds. So those are also our 1-star reviews. The rest are perfect.
One more question.
Thanks for the opportunity. So, what does it mean as a Jiffy certified technician
And how do you train your technicians or tradesmen to match the customer expectation versus what a typical tradesman is?
Yeah. Well, good question. So there's certain requirements. So you have to be a real company. So Jiffy's not like a gig platform like TaskRabbit, let's say. So you do have to be a real company with a tax ID number, and you need liability insurance. If you're in a license category like electrical, plumbing, gas, anything like that, we do a check on the license. We do background checks. They go through like a whole kind of like modules with watching Jiffy, how to use the app, answer questions. Then they do a sign up, like an actual sign off call. And then they're limited to 3 jobs. And we make sure those 3 jobs go perfectly. And if they do, then they graduate on to be able to take on as many. And then if their rating falls below a certain amount, then their notifications turn off. Did I answer both parts of that question? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
I'm supposed to be done, but I do have a question that would be a shame if I didn't ask. So, how are you thinking about AI now when you have this platform that's been around for over 10 years, you're in this big, gigantic organization now. How are you innovating in AI?
In a lot of ways. I mean, I'll just like the booking flow, I'll just use as an example. So many homeowners don't know if they want to swap a light fixture, what kind of trade they need, believe it or not. So currently they have to select electrical, or hopefully they hit one of our like tags. But we just want homeowners to be able to just describe what they need done, and we know what trades to go out to. We want to, when they go and select their date and time frame, if we know that it's like a heat wave and your AC just broke, we may not be able to get someone there within a few hours, but in like a random time of the year, we will. So all the data we have, right, we'll be able to actually know that kind of things. Trades like to do different types of jobs as well. So some electricians like are just on Jiffy and they're just waiting for big projects to come, like bigger projects, maybe $1,000 plus. Other electricians just prefer like in and out 20-minute jobs, but we don't actually know. So we notify all of them. They get notified in an algorithm based on their score. But if we knew that this handyman doesn't deal with drywall or likes painting jobs or what have you, we can actually alert them more relevant jobs.
Super cool. Thank you, Paul, for
Thanks
being
for
with
having me.
us.
Thanks, everybody.
Really appreciate it.